seats with a leather interior. It was shredded and stuff like that. Also, the front left side, it was torn up there. And then the compressor was damaged, needed...
Well, the compressor she already said wasn't working.
Yeah.
He actually converted the AC system in 1999.
Just a second, he converted on this car?
Yes, ma'am, in 1999.
Oh, so he had worked on this car before?
Yes, ma'am.
To your satisfaction?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Well, the outside of the car looks just fine, with the exception of an antenna which looks bent. On the inside, the car looks as if someone's been smoking in there and dropped matches on the floor.
The computer component was hanging by its wires. I know he was looking for the short that was in the car. He left the undercarriage in the back seat. He left all the wires hanging. He left all the bolts on the floor. He didn't put it back in the same condition I'd left it.
You the mechanic?
Yes, ma'am.
Step up here. I want to ask you just a couple of questions. The inside of the car, as far as the exterior of the car was concerned, other than the antenna, the car was pretty clean. A couple of dents, but this car is a dozen years old already,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So it's the inside of the car that was a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the inside of the car was a problem?
Well, I mean, when I looked at it, originally, I mean, of course, the first thing you look at is the exterior because it's dusty and stuff. But when you open it up, and like she was explaining, the ECM, the harness, and other accessories and stuff were hanging down from it.
And how much would it cost to put the accessories back in a condition that was appropriate?
As far as the accessory, I mean, it's not so much cost, it's just a matter of time. Maybe
So,
15, 20 minutes.
15 or 20 minutes to
Yes.
put all the guts back that he had
Yes,
taken
ma'am.
out?
Yes, ma'am.
And everything else you just fixed on the car?
We traced the short down and actually fixed
And
some
fixed
of
it?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you come to ask him for $2,700?
It cost me $350 from his shop to get the car running back, because when I got the car back, it had no dash lights. It would hardly turn over. By the time I went back, the car was dead and had to have it towed to his shop. Couldn't even drive it. And so I had to pay his shop just to get it functioning again so I could sell it. I never had the compressor fixed.
Listen to
and
me.
They did.
Listen to me. I
Yes,
asked you
ma'am.
a question. You're talking very fast.
Sorry.
He said it took him 15 or 20 minutes to put the guts back in the car that he left hanging out. I'm not saying he's terrific.
One of the
But
things,
you want $2,331.17, and I'm asking you for
I
what?
have a list of items here if you'd like to
For
see it.
what?
They also found that the diode, some electrical piece on the compressor, was never put on the compressor in 1999, which was causing the short in
Let
the
me
car.
explain something to you. I'm not going back to 1999. Forget it. Your complaint was that you left the car there within 5 months, and because of the damage that he did to the car, it cost you $2,331, which is not true.
But I never knew what he was going to do to the car. He was always telling me, call me next week, call me next week, call me next week.
Go and get your car. Be a grown-up.
I have...
Defamation. That's what you're countersuing for. Defamation. Let me hear it fast, in 30 seconds or less.
Yes, ma'am. Background check, State Attorney General, Better Business Bureau. 2 of them were a company, since 5 years in business, 0 complaints.
Well, she complained about you, sir. She's allowed to complain about you.
I know, but she was telling everybody about me. She
No,
was
you
saying I
can't-
didn't do my company.
Just a second. Who did she complain to?
Chef at Aldo's?
Did you have that witness here?
No.
Well, you
Also,
can't. Just a second. You
Okay.
can't tell me what she said to somebody else. That's hearsay.
Yes, okay.
What else?
Had a nervous breakdown.
I'm not interested in that. I mean, it's not that I'm disinterested in it,
Well,
sir, but
that's
it's not
fine.
relevant to this case.
I have my awards and stuff like this, and the way you had said it, like, we don't have that etiquette, like you just said, you know, dirty, musty stuff like that, ma'am. The way I portray my company is like, this is my uniform.
Mr. Pena.
We're not like
Mr.
that,
Pena,
ma'am.
are you finished with the defamation part of your counterclaim?
No, I'm
Good.
I'm finished with that, ma'am.
Good,
You
wonderful.
Can take it.
Wonderful. Ms. Cardenas, you have not established to my satisfaction that other than the 15 or 20 minutes that it took this gentleman to put the work back together, that he did anything to your car in the 5 months but just let it lay there.
But he took it apart. I mean, he took it apart. He never found the short, and there was no, because it stayed there on his property, it no longer had any dash lights. It no longer had any...
Go and get it. That's what you do.
But I didn't leave it in that condition when I left it with him.
How much did you charge her for the 15 or 20 minutes that it took to put this stuff
can I
back
explain
together
something
again?
real
No,
quick?
just
I'm
answer my
sorry.
question. How much did you charge her for the 15 or 20 minutes?
$315.14.
For
But
15
you've also got almost $200 worth of parts here, too. When the vehicle was actually brought in, the reason it was brought in, it was because it had no air conditioning.
That's not what I'm here for, sir. She's here because she says that he was negligent in allowing her car to be vandalized in some way in the time that it was sitting in his lot. And I said to her, why didn't you go and get your car? You know, a car sits on a lot. You have cars on lots. What happens when a car sits on your lot and nothing's happening to it 5-6 months?
Well, it depends on the customer who wants to claim the vehicle. Most of the time, they just leave them.
Yeah.
So you put a lien on it, you sell the car.
Right. And so what do you do with the car? You go and start it every couple of days?
No, ma'am.
No, of course not. Just let it lay there.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Roxana Godinez says her ex-boyfriend, Frank Pena, damaged her car while trying to repair it. Frank says the car was already in bad shape.
So I'm going to ask you again. He left some stuff out.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said to me, it took you 15 or 20 minutes to put that stuff back in. So I'm asking you, how much did you charge her for that part of your bill? Because he's responsible for that. Maybe. If I could make him not responsible, I would. He's really irritating me. What did you charge for an hour's worth of labor?
$61.27.
Okay. Is he going to his wallet?
No, I was going to adjust it over here.
Oh, I thought you were going to your wallet to give her $60.
No, not at all.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $60. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
When you walk to my shop, I dress like that. And that's an owner of a shop like that. Look how he dresses. And that's his Sunday best, see? Yeehaw!
He knows exactly what he did wrong. I'm sure if you listen to him for a little while, you realize he has no content when he speaks.
Chop, chop, chop.
And now the next case.
All parties on Emmanuel versus Costa. Step forward, please.
52-year-old writer Sheila Emanuel is suing 43-year-old store owner Norman Kosser for the cost to replace her raincoat. Sheila says while shopping in Norman's store, her coat was burned by a candle.
Miss Emanuel, according to your complaint, you passed by the defendant's shop, which is a boutique-y kind of shop, and you saw a picture frame that you liked in the window?
Yes,
You went in to purchase it. There was someone helping you, not the defendant.
that's correct.
This is your store.
Yes,
But
it
the
is.
person who was helping you was an employee.
Yes.
And when you were looking at the frame or paying for it, you placed your coat down on the counter and smelled something burning. When you picked up your coat, you had placed your coat on top of a lit candle that was on the counter.
Not quite. I didn't smell anything burning.
You saw smoke.
Yes, the cashier smelled something burning.
Okay. And your coat was burned,
Yes,
and you want him to pay for the coat.
yes.
How many candles were burning in the shop?
When I went into the counter after I picked out the frame, I saw on the counter a fat pink unlit new candle, and I saw a metal cylindrical, look like a tall can. I looked around for some place to put my things. I didn't see any place to put things down, so I put my bag on the floor, and I asked Michael, the cashier, if it would be okay to put my coat on the counter because there were items lying there, and he said, sure. We started writing the transaction up, and about 30 seconds later, he asked me, did I smell something burning? Then I glanced to my right, and I saw that my coat was smoldering. So I pulled it off the counter. There were papers in the pocket that were on fire. Michael took them from me, and he was stamping them out on his side of the counter, and I was stamping out the fire in my coat on my side of the counter.
So your coat was burned?
Yes.
Well, what did you put it on?
I put it on the counter over the cylindrical metal can and the unlit pink candle. When I pulled off the coat, after we put out the fire, he said to me, Michael said, oh my God.
Don't tell me what Michael said. Michael's not here.
Okay. I found
Just
out there was a lit candle in the recessed container after I pulled my coat off the counter.
Why do you think he's responsible for that?
I was told to put my coat on the counter by Michael when I saw no other place to put it. And I was unable to see the lit candle in the recessed container.
Well, how high is the counter?
About this high.
So all you have to do is look inside.
It was back at that end, and it was tall. And the candle was not at the top. It had burnt down.
Go ahead. Your turn.
She came into my store.
Did you witness anything?
No, I came out. I think
Well,
I
where's
was.
your employee? Where's Michael?
Michael's working. He's not being sued, Your Honor.
Mr.
I'm
Costa,
being sued.
I understand that. You're the one who's being sued. But you have to have your witness here. You didn't witness anything. I mean, how are you going to respond to her?
I have pictures of the counter as
Okay.
well as the candle in question.
Let me see.
It's a much better view.
Is this the candle you were talking about?
No, it is not.
See, you have a problem, Mr. Costa. When I read this complaint, I said, it's very straightforward. Miss Emanuel says she walked into your shop, she put her coat down, she wasn't looking what she was doing. So I was prepared to tell Miss Emanuel, you got to be more careful. But you're a businessman, and I assume that, you know, in court you can't use hearsay. You have to have a witness. Your witness was here. He would be able to tell me if this was the candle that was on the counter. She says it was not. So what are you handing me?